Didn't you have banter?
I did. I was put on the spot. I was looking up something. I just wanted to say two things I wanted to say. One, how grateful I am to be able to just like listen to music in general, like be able to hear things and I have ears and hear things. It's like amazing. You don't really think about that sometimes.
You don't think about the people that don't have the ears.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or have the ability to hear and like hear cars coming by just to warn you, stuff like that. It's awesome. But then the ability to have music is like one of the best gifts in this world, especially because like it's one of the things that we can actually slow down and take our time to do and like appreciate, because you can't do that. You can't slow down today with a lot of things. Like if you're driving somewhere, you can't go 1 mile per hour the whole time. I mean, you can, but you'll run out of gas. You'll get pulled over. You get dirty looks.
Or rear-ended.
You won't enjoy it at all. But
you'll
like
get cursed at if you're in the States, for sure.
Yeah, there's like so many things that could go wrong with it. But like music, you could listen to the song 10 times in a row if you want. And I mean, hopefully you don't have like an appointment or something, but like you can enjoy that same like the whole time of you're listening to the song.
It gets better sometimes.
Yeah, you can enjoy the whole moment. Like, or like if you're creating a song, or like if you're listening to a song, like there's no rush to get to the end of the song. Like you have the whole time just to enjoy it. So music is amazing, and I'm grateful we could listen to it.
That's a good start.
That was my little spiel.
Where's my little gremlin heart to hear that? Well, fellow people in the world, we are on bonus episode number 13. 13 of these little ditties we got going on here. Today we are doing Old Hollywood by Julian Casablancas from Phrazes for the Young, and The Chamber by the Last Shadow Puppets. I do know both of these. It's gonna be a good turn in terms of the Last Shadow Puppet stuff. It's not super cowboyish. It's on the real Age of the Age of Understatement album, not the EP. It's on the real album, real produced, good shit. Sorry, someone's running a fucking juicer upstairs. Who fucking knows? But Old Hollywood is the Julian song. I think we're gonna start with the Last Shadow Puppets this time. So the Last Shadow Puppets, The Chamber, off of the Age of Understatement album, that has been streamed 6.3 million times. Right? Yeah, 6.3 million times. What's crazy is some songs that we look at, 6.3 million is a small number. Mm-hmm. Isn't that crazy to think about? 6.3 million of anything is like, holy crap. You know what I mean? But 6.3 million, that's small. That's how many times this has been streamed. The Age of Understatement came out in 2008, written by Alex Turner and Miles Kane. I think we should just get right into this. I wasn't able to find a shit ton out about these songs. The bonus ones tend to have less to find. We're kind of relying on Reddit for a lot of stuff like this. But anyway, fans, people that are listening, it is The Chamber by the Last Shadow Puppets from their album The Age of Understatement. You can pause the pod, play it on Spotify or Apple Music with us. Are you guys ready to give this bad boy a listen?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's flip and go. All right, guys, that was The Chamber by the Last Shadow Puppets. That is a short boy right there. It's 100. It's 1 minute and 44 seconds of actual singing, followed by a haunting ending there with guitar and some tambourine or a belt, whatever. Sounds like Christmas. But yeah, that's short. Well, I'm kind of disappointed because I liked the melody of it. And I think they did a lot of cool things with like the violins and how it can sound. That's definitely one that I'm thinking like, God, if that was just a little bit longer and they added something to it, it would be better. But it's like 1 minute and 44 seconds of the vocals, and then a little bit of an ambiance at the end of the song. I even think the guitars sounded cool. They had the violin sound that they kind of more so sound like on their main LP, the next one from 2008. Never mind. Wait, is it 2008? No, it's later. I fucking forget. I think it's later. Actually, I know it is because he sounds completely different. But one thing that stood out to me, I know there's a lot of Beatles fans that listen to this. This one reminds me of the Beatles' first album. I don't know how well you guys know them, but there was a lot of harmonies going on. And they repeated a lot of the same type of, like, this one was the, like that thing, and then the background. If you listen to what I'm talking about with their first album, Please Please Me, there's a lot of that going on harmony-wise. Like, it really did remind me of songs from the first Beatles album in terms of how they were harmonizing, switching who was singing which part, and then in the background they took over the vocals and the harmonies. That's really cool. I really enjoyed like the harmony part of it, but it was just so fucking short, which sucks because I was digging it for a while. But anyway, what are your guys' first thoughts there?
First thoughts for me is a little odd, especially like the intro and then the outro. The outro sounded like I was playing like a game of like Super Mario Galaxy, or like in the loading menu or something. And I was like,
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know what to expect. It was pretty cool though.
Yeah.
It was really short though, like especially when like they just stopped singing. I was like, oh, and I liked how when they were singing, it sounded like almost like an echo, like you were saying, like
like they're in the
singing back
background,
at
like
each
in
other.
the yeah.
It sounded like Alex was actually like, if I didn't know Miles Kay was on the song, it sounded like Alex was like singing to himself in the mirror, and like his mirror self is singing back.
Ooh, that's a good. Yeah.
But it's cool, like there's two guys in the song, so it's actually like him echoing back what he's saying, and it's like almost like wordplay kind of.
Yeah.
Not in that sense like wordplay, but like they're like echoing what he's saying back to him. It's pretty cool.
I think it'd be perfect for like a movie musical where it can be a short song or something, and they're singing something together. There's nothing wrong with a short song, but it only bugs me when, like, to me, I'm liking it, and then it's, like, done too soon.
Yeah.
There's a lot of songs like that where I'm like, fuck, why didn't you make this a full-length 3-minute song? And I think that's something with this, where if they could have done something for a change of key or, like, added something to it, I think it could be better. But
There's
anyway,
a lot of songs I can think of where like they're just too short. I'm like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, it leaves you wanting something, because it's like you guys said, what you get from it, it's like, oh, that was cool, I want to hear more of it.
Yeah.
And towards the end I was like, is that it?
Yeah.
That's the whole song?
What about you?
It almost feels like an intro or an outro or something, like
Yeah. Like from a 15 or 16 track like double album where there's like an intro. Yeah, like that's what I was,
or even like a play, like how you mentioned of like it's like an intro to like the next scene, just real quick, like 2 minutes, we're gonna paint this picture, and then you're on to the dialogue.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, it was a cool for what it was, but it felt really short and not just wasn't a lot there.
Yeah.
You want to hear more of it,
The acoustic version I posted on Reddit was interesting. I like to hear that acoustic because I'm listening to an acoustic version. I'm fine with it being short because like you can. Like to me, acoustic songs can be as short or long as you need to. So when you hear them playing it live, you like their vocals so much. You're just like, and the way they play acoustic, they're both really good guitar players. It's nice to hear. And with the guitar, they go the ding 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 ding. They like do that like up on their guitar too, and it sounds really cool. So the acoustic version is nice, but it's still just as short. Or I thought it was the regular one was longer, but I was really wrong. Most of it's that last weird, like fade out. Ambiance noise, but it's only 1 minute and 44 seconds, maybe like 1:30 if you take out the intro of like actual singing and people in it. So yeah, I wish there's
not a lot to say.
Yeah.
Like it just there wasn't a whole lot there.
If we're looking at the lyrics, obviously it's not a long transcript. Now, guys, if you listen to it with us, which I highly recommend you would listen to this one, you know what we're talking about. It was short. It's definitely just a little ditty. Leave yourself alone, can't you see you're only here to be torn apart based upon and nothing else. Leave yourself alone, tell your wasted time. I wish they'd all give him a chance. I owe apologies, so tell your wasted time. It's torture, locked inside the chamber, cornered by yourself. So you know what, Will, maybe you're probably right about him looking at the mirror. It's kind of like, I think that is what that is. Can't you see you're only here to be torn apart based upon nothing else?
So he's talking to himself.
Yeah, leave yourself alone. Tell your wasted time that I am worse. Yeah, I think you're dead on actually
like
with what you were saying.
Self-deprecating.
Yeah,
it sounded like a bedroom song. Like that. Like Billie Eilish should make almost. Like
I didn't even think that's really good that you said that because I didn't even like think about the lyrics that way. I think that literally is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because with the chamber, it's like.
Yeah.
Like a chamber, like imagine like you're stuck in like a tube.
Yeah. You must admit you are an instigator hanging on to arguments. Yeah. Cornered by yourself. It's torture locked inside. Yeah. I think you're dead on with what the song means. Just it's a song kind of, I think, like what Will said, looking at yourself and being trapped in your own mind. But yeah, I mean, not every week's going to be a long one. I will say that we're getting some of the shorter ones out of the way because any song on their next LP, the Everything You Come to Expect, all the songs are different and longer and sound more like our speed. But there's a lot of good songs on this album too. We just didn't get it on the shuffle yet. It's gonna be coming in season 2. But yeah, that was The Chamber. What stood out to you guys the most with that one? The
the length.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot to say there. Like
I love the harmonies.
Yeah,
Per se.
harmony.
I do love the way their vocals sound. For when they were in it, I do love both of their vocals in this. I do think this is a good vocal performance. I don't think anything else was super like prominent in terms of what was in there. That's
I don't even
what
think
have.
vocally it's like their best work either, though.
No, it's
like,
definitely not their best work.
But it
No.
wasn't bad. Like what you get here is like, yeah, like the vocals are still nice, and it's, kind of like now looking at the lyrics and how Will kind of painted it out, it does make it a little bit more interesting or more, enjoyable.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not a lot there. Almost, it's like, I feel like that's how it was last week, the last bonus episode, where it didn't feel like a complete song.
Yeah.
It just felt kind of like a little snippet.
Yeah. Some fan comments here. Hearts for You All said delicious. Professional dash Gur 4486 said, Como pasa el tiempo, Jaja? I don't know what that translates to.
Say that one more time.
Como pasa el tiempo?
Oh, how to pass the time?
Oh,
yeah.
Maybe it's a lyric. I think it's a lyric
maybe.
from it. Jay-Z Jez said, love it. Second to Meeting Place on that album. Wow. Neil McCoy said, what guitar is Alex using here? I don't know. You should look that up. So it is a nice one. Thomas_Omni said, don't really like it. Buddy Walker 7 said, the chamber is good, but Meeting Place is the best. And then Foreskin Trader 33 said, nah, mate,
What?
Black Plant is the real goat in that album. Grandma Josie said, nah, Calm Like You is the greatest of all time. And then people said, agree. Calm Like You is like the main big one on this one that people like. X-Enemix 1 said, can't get my head around the fact this is 16 years old. PHAANJ, I said, thank you for sharing this. Cantomic66 said, great song from a banger album. Sir_Spexa said, it's a good song, obviously not the best, but good. I can't believe that post got more comments in a certain room. That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, they probably don't get much of a chance to talk about this song. Like,
Yeah.
where else are you gonna find a thread about this exact song?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
All right, rankings, guys. What do we got?
who wants to go first? Who wants to embarrass themselves first? Because it seems like a lot of people really like this song.
I'm gonna give it a 2.5.
2.5.
Yep.
Okay. What about
I
you?
do, even though how short it
Yeah.
is, I think it's better than Only the Truth and 2 Hearts in 2 Weeks.
Yeah.
I enjoyed listening to it more than those two songs.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I could play the song because I do like the beginning and it's short, so it's not going to kill me.
Yeah.
It could probably be higher than a 2.5, but that's where my mind went in terms of what it does for me.
My heart, just like I was thinking about it, and it's good right at a 3.
3?
That's pretty like solid, I would say, for my like rating on it. It's not a bad song. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just too short. I'm like, dang, I wish I wanted more of it. I really like that little outro though. I love like finding like songs that have like a weird like outro where it's kind of extended. And some people are like, oh, they didn't even need that. But I'm like, it's cool that they put it in the first place. Like they could have took it out and not had that. But I love finding like, little weird outros, and I want to build like a playlist of just like weird music like that.
Yeah.
As I said, like it made me sound like I was like playing, or like I just loaded up Super Mario Galaxy and I'm about to start playing, and you hear like the music playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit!
That's why I think I think it could easily, I could be with you on a 3. Like it's I could listen to it and be happy by that beginning.
Yeah.
But if I'm sitting down here and dissecting it, that's when I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one because again, it feels not complete.
I just know it's out of the ones. It's definitely out of the ones.
It's out of the
for me.
ones.
Yeah.
I'm gonna also give it a 3.0 just because I do think it's a good song, but again, it's just so short that it almost doesn't feel like a song. It really feels like, I think Jared maybe like helped in my rating and in painting it as kind of like a transitional thing, and maybe when you hear the whole album, like in the order, it maybe makes sense somehow.
Yeah,
like it transitions nicely to like a better song.
I was gonna say like it feels like a demo, but like it doesn't, because like there's even some demos that feel complete, and this one like it feels like they just took something out, but
Yeah.
It just feels like they're setting you up for something later, and so it's hard to judge it like as its own thing because it doesn't feel big enough.
Yep.
Right? It kind of feels like, I don't know, like
not
Star
enough
Wars,
to-
like Han Solo, like the Solo movie, right? Like, is that really a Star Wars
Yeah.
movie? Is this really is this a song? You know, it is, but
Yeah.
like
I
it
get
just
you.
doesn't feel quite there. So But it's a 3.0 for me.
I think if the listeners, like, this is one I would just put on, see how you feel. The harmonies are really, really good. Vocally, it's really, really good. So put that on. Give it a quick listen. Hopefully you already did. It's a nice one. It's nice to listen to.
If you if I feel like if you like their stuff and like that this is the types of things that they tend to do, then it's right up your alley.
Yeah. Cool. Let's move on to Julian Casablancas. We're doing Old Hollywood from Phrazes for the Young. So his main album only had like 8 tracks on it. This song came out with the album, but on a deluxe version of the album. This is like a deluxe. He released like 2 or 3 songs that were singles to this album that weren't on the album, which is really fucking weird. It's this, 30-Minute Boyfriend, and maybe one other one, I forget. I think he did a cover of Christmas Treat from SNL. The one, I think that was on this too.
Interesting.
And I think he was fucking around with the I'll Try Anything Once demo around like these. So, but this isn't part of the main 8 songs on this album. I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, Old Hollywood was on the iTunes Amazon bonus track. And I was right. Old Hollywood, 30-Minute Boyfriend, and Christmas Treat were the main ones. And then, Christmas Treat's his song, but then I Wish It Was Christmas Today was the one from SNL that he covered and put that on here. Long Island Blues is another one. So yeah, he had a lot of, like, Four Chords of the Apocalypse, that's the other one. There's a lot of songs on this that weren't on the main... No, Four Chords was. Sorry, this is so fucking confusing. He literally has, 4 different versions of this album.
Wow.
One from Acoustically Remembering DVD, Luxury Edition, and the iTunes Amazon bonus and the regular.
Damn.
But the main album has 8 tracks on it. But this one isn't on the main one. So anyway, this song was streamed 967,665 times. So not even 1 million times yet.
Wow.
But I personally think this is a top 3 Julian solo song of mine. Julian solo. This is a top 3. Glass is number 1. This could be number 2. I really don't know. I think we'll see when I give it another listen here. But for fans, Old Hollywood, Julian Casablancas from Phrazes for the Young. It is a single, so just search the title and you'll see it. It's not going to be on the main album, but you'll see it has the same album cover, Old Hollywood. We're about to give it a listen. You guys ready?
Let's do it.
Let's go. All right, guys, that was Old Hollywood by Julian Casablancas. I really, really love that song. I kind of just, like, when I was listening to that ending weird piece, to me it reminds me of, like, a scene in a movie where it's, like, a scary, like, mental realism. Like, it reminded me of, like, a sound that would be from, like, a Joker movie or something when, like, he was, like, doing something bad.
The Shadow Puppets one kind of reminded me of that too, but that's a good, this as well.
It sounded like it could be in like a twist, like, you know, sometimes in scary movies where like some twist that's happening, but like the music is kind of like, because they were definitely like just using the violins from the main song and like, doing reverb with it and like, it just sounded like creepy, and the way that they're just describing like, you know, the way you sing about Old Hollywood and shit like that, it just fit the song so well. But I fucking love that song. I think it's I can't believe it's not on the main album. I do think it's one of the best songs that he did on in the solo time. I have a lot of thoughts on it, but it's your guys' like first-ish time listening to it. So what do you guys think on that?
This is one of the songs. This is different. I'm surprised it wasn't on his actual like album. It said it was like a bonus.
Yeah, it's on the album, but it's on like the iTunes Amazon version of it. It's not on the main LP that the US.
Did it come out at the same time though? Like were there 2 versions at time of release?
I'm pretty sure they all came out. It's just like this came out back in the day where like you bought things off iTunes and Amazon and stuff. So when you got that, you'd get it as a bonus track. Yeah.
Because what I'm wondering is like it could have also just been one of those things of like he made it and then the album had already come out, and by the time that you're ready for like a deluxe version, it's like, hey, here's a reason to buy this same album you just bought, but with a little bit extra. It could have been a situation like that too, but yeah, that is around that time where like there were weird exclusives, and I'm so glad it's really not like that anymore. Yeah, imagine that, like new album 21 Pilots comes out, and you're like, oh, you didn't get to hear that one song? Well, you should have listened to it on
should've bought
Spotify,
it.
buddy.
Yeah.
You should have bought it on iTunes. Like, what?
It's crazy. Yeah.
That's what they did, like Kanye's one song, right? Like, he made like a device you can only like.
Oh
listen to, like,
yeah, I
the one
forgot
album on
about
a
that.
device or something.
Yeah,
I forget what it's called.
that did not work out
Donda.
well.
Yeah, it was like a little
I don't
streaming
fucking know,
device.
Kanye.
He
Yeah,
probably
something
sold
like-
a bunch
No, I
of
think
them
you're right.
though.
Yeah.
Wasn't it like $100 or something like that?
Yeah, something
Yeah.
was,
It was a
like
lot.
you charged. His most recent one, I think there was a weird thing with it too. But
I wouldn't do that, even if I love that person.
yeah,
And like Kanye's pretty cool. I could say I love Kanye.
kind of like
but
Radiohead. They're not fucking when Radiohead
you
released In
pissed.
Rainbows. They're like, hey, we're gonna put this online. It's pay what you want. You could pay a cent and you got it. And they made
Yeah.
so much money off that album because it
That's
was so
cool.
fucking good.
That's
Yeah,
different.
I think they were the first ones to do that.
Who was the one that forced you to
U2.
download it? YouTube.
Yeah, it came
Oh my
on. It
God,
was like to
came on-
promote the new
Right.
iPods or something.
People were so mad.
Yeah.
Never in the
Because you
history
couldn't
of the
get rid of
world.
it or something, right?
Right, but
like, it
think
was
of like,
stuck.
and I get I'm totally with people on that. But just imagine if talk about first world problems.
I know.
Of like, how dare you put that on my device without
Yeah.
me choosing to buy it or not?
I like you too, but don't fucking put their shitty.
I don't even
20
like you too, but
2013.
yeah, like just don't.
Yeah, put Joshua Tree on my iPod if you're gonna put one on there. But anyway, Manny, what do you think? First listen.
I mean, it's like a lot of his other stuff. Not too far out of the realm of what I expect at this point.
Mm-hmm.
If this would have been one of the first ones that I heard, then it might be a different response. But
Yeah,
this is kind of what I expect from his solo stuff.
yeah. I like the beginning, the way that the synth sounds with the drums, the ding 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 ding. Like
it reminded me of like Sonic, like a Sonic game.
yeah.
I will say, the thing that stood out to me the most were the drums.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like it's a crazy thing, but it seems like the type of song that would be fun to play on the drums just because this type of song is like very like transcendent,
Yeah.
There's a lot of, it reminds me of like, there's certain bands where like it's not really about the lyrics. I'm trying to think like bluegrass type, you know what I mean? Like where like Fish, right?
Yeah.
Like you're kind of like in a trance while you're listening to it, and it's the same thing when you're playing these types of songs. You could just, even though it's a basic like drum song I'm sorry, like beat, it's still fun to just kind of loop yourself in and play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with me, like that I take away from it, is like the synth and the ambiance they create with it. It sounds like a dark tone to it because the whole thing is like do 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 do. It goes down.
It
It
seems
goes
like-
down, not up.
It seems like the void's light.
Yeah,
You know
well,
what I mean?
I
Like,
think
it's-
with the way he describes this, he describes that he wanted more time with it. I think he wanted it to be more of a Void's like experimentation album, where I think this definitely is experimentation for him,
I
but not
wonder-
quite to the degree that he wanted it to be.
Yeah, well, I wonder why why didn't he have enough time? Was he just pressed? That's why I wonder if like with the release, did he have to like, all right, studio wants me to make a deluxe version, I gotta pump something out? Like I don't know, but you can kind of tell that it's right on the cusp of almost being a Void's type of song, but it screams more solo Julian, if that makes sense at the same time.
If I'm not mistaken, this 2009, so I think this was when it was First Impression. No, I'm wrong. It was Angle's time. So like around then, maybe he was just pressed for, because I think Angles is when they were starting to get in their fighting type phase. Like it was tough to make it. So I'm sure he had a lot of stuff in the back of his mind. Like I'm sure there was a lot of stuff that he had going on where like he might not feel like his focus was
He couldn't
completely on that. Yeah, and like the Voids, their first album came out in 2013, 2016. So like they've been active since 2013. So the Voids didn't even exist yet. So he didn't know
Oh, so this is
that
like
was
a
happening. This was
precursor
this was
to-
by
that makes
himself.
sense.
So I'm sure, and when you listen to his interviews with the Voids, like he definitely met them, and it unlocked his ability to get to where he wanted, because everyone in the Voids is like incredibly talented and like shared the same like wants in that way. And if I'm not mistaken, I think someone from the Voids recorded on this album with him. I could be completely messing that up, but I want to double check just in case. Jeremy, Gritter, Amir, Jacob, Alex. maybe I'm wrong. I just know that something. What did they do together? They did something with somebody. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. But there was something that they did together where they got into this together, and that's how they found. So I think when we talked about this before with how Julian feels about the Voids versus the Strokes, I think Julian feels himself with the Voids because the Strokes took off and like they have an agenda where that you gotta release hits, like you're the Voids, like you gotta sell. Sorry, you're the Strokes, you gotta sell tickets, like you gotta do that shit. And I think that's what he feels restricted by, and I think that's why they liked making the New Abnormal so much because they took so much time off, and you can tell that they were on the same page for that whole record. Like it's
everybody wanted to be there.
Yeah,
wanted to do.
And I think that's what's taken them so long to make their next one, because he's still fully kind of engulfed in what the Voids have going on. I think it's been a little bit quieter recently, Voids wise, which hopefully that means something's coming out. But I think that's why this album sounded the way that it did. I don't think he had that, because sometimes it just takes meeting that one person or that can like really have you flourish and add that second opinion and shit. But I know I'm not remembering what happened and how he got into, but I think someone recorded with him on something and then he got into the Voids with it. I just can't remember exactly that story. I'll have to look that up. But what stood out to you guys the most in terms of the song for after first listen?
Well, I mentioned the drums for me.
Yep, the
but
drums
I don't
for
think
you.
Will got to...
I would say the guitar, like the electric guitar going on. It's like you said, like it's a little bit like psychedelic.
Mm-hmm.
But I was actually funny because I was picturing myself like playing that. I was like, well, this would be like really fun to like learn and play.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of this other song. I have to look it up in a minute. There's like other Hollywood song, but I like this. Like it was kind of like gloomy, kind of like dready, but also like kind of like I don't know, like what rock music makes you feel like a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it has like a little bit of like dread to it, it makes you feel kind of like good in a way. It's kind of weird. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's a good point out. In terms of, did you look at any of the lyrics when you were listening to it?
Mm-hmm.
You did. Do you have any that you wanted to comment on specifically?
Let me see.
I have a couple, but I want to save like mine because mine takes like a little bit longer. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Go. You're good. It's fine. I'll just cut it.
Oh, my favorite. I was just gonna say my favorite. It's not very long. Like lyric wise, it's not like a whole bunch. My favorite lyric was "Men are clumsy, violent fools. Women are delicate pools of flowers and cobras." But like the whole delivery of it takes a little bit long. But when he says it, it's like, oh shit, like it's almost like a movie scene. The whole little like lyric part of it.
Yeah.
I feel like the music going on in that part is like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's tough to find, really, because you think that he's just describing like Hollywood, but a lot of the lyrics don't really match up to how he's feeling there, because like there's a lot of comments here. So in old Hollywood, proud and gray, all of the ghosts gather around the TV. We can argue all that you like, we can argue till we fight, but the loser may have been right. Glamorous, black and white, zoning out most of the night. Why do we end up imitating all the ones that we once were hating? Men are clumsy, violent fools, women are delicate fools. So like, it's kind of like, well, okay, so, and the lyrics on this are pretty short too. Like you only get like 3 lines of like unique verses, so I couldn't find too much about what that one was about, but and I couldn't really find any like comments on that either. But how do you interpret that personally? Like what he's really singing about?
I mean, that was the first time I heard this song.
Yeah, I just like to hear like the first impressions like of it, like what really comes to your mind. Take
on society, like.
Yeah, I think if he's really singing about how
it's like as great as it is, as we make it seem to be sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is like crap, and that's how it is.
I think to me, if he is truly singing about, if it is focusing on like what it was, I think he's focusing on, kind of how it was back then when Hollywood was big. So, short story long, put on TV as a TV was shouting on. So, I think he's just speaking about how it used to be back then, where like Hollywood was just a fucking shit show, and everyone was like fighting for their jobs, and it was just all about, I want the screen, I want this, like I want this, and I think he's going over like what Hollywood was depicting back in that time, whenever he was talking about. But again, this is like an example of Julian and like the way his lyrics are. Like sometimes you have to like just look up a meaning and see what people are thinking of it. I think the lyrics, the way he delivers them, as always, like the melody of the song is great. I think he delivers the lyrics in a strong way where it's catchy, where you like singing along to it. But I don't think there's super big amount of meaning there that's really there to decipher. Did you look at the lyrics, Manny, when you were listening?
No, I was actually just trying to see if I can just understand.
Yeah.
You know, just I'm not a big like. I love lyrics. I don't want to like just read lines of you know your lyrics, because then it's like then I can't focus on the music. So I'd rather just, if I can,
Hear them.
yeah. So like, and that's usually, you know, if lyrics stand out, then I'll know like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Nothing really like stood out to me with this one over, again, the music itself was like very overpowering. So
yeah. And again, this one came out of, you know, after First Impressions of Earth, when the band had like their issues. Like that's when he got in to go solo and try a couple things, and this is from like that era. So I think it's interesting to see him kind of carry his lyrics over. I don't think they're as strong on his solo stuff, at least for the main solo album. I think that's kind of shows you like when you're with the right group, even like the lyrics, the production, everything can be better when you just have someone like consultating you. But I think he's expressed how this body of work could have been better if he had more time, where he put an extra something onto it.
yeah.
But again, I want to reiterate, this is probably my second. I love that song. I really do. I love how it sounds. Love the melody, everything like that. But let's look at some fan comments real quick. We got definitely a good bit on this one. Let's see. A lot of people said check this version out. He has a version where they're doing an acoustic and he's just like singing it in like a deep voice in a corner. I'm not a huge fan of it because I listened to it. It sounds like he's doing a joke out of it, so that's not my favorite version. But Eastern _ idea 387 said to check that one out. Someone said they liked a picture on YouTube of this. I think it's the artwork of this album. It looks like it's Julian's head with kind of like shades on it, like kind of reverbing off of his face. It's pretty cool. A lot of people asked for the link to that. Let me see. Spider-Man 98 said, I love it a lot. It always gave me more of a Voids vibe. Closer to it, yeah, Manny said something like that. Clark Brower said, can you... Oops, not reading that one. There were a couple annoying posts on this one, annoying comments on that one. We're not going to pay them no mind. Internal _ finding 412 said, I prefer Glass and Left and Right in the Dark, but this one is very good too. Hope Slam Zombie said, it's one of my favorites off that album for sure. There's a few of the good like top comments on that one. So these two songs we just didn't get a super amount. I think it's just because they're not known. Like these two songs aren't like super known.
Yeah.
But I have shown this I have shown this song to a lot of people. Most people said like, wow, this sounds pretty interesting. Let me get into this, and that's what kind of got them listening to this album. This song in Glass is usually like the one I send. The Chamber, that's like the first time I've been listening to that one since I first discovered them. So that's why I kind of completely forgot. But yeah, that was Old Hollywood by Julian Casablancas and The Chamber by the Last Shadow Puppets, Alex Turner's solo band. Ratings, guys. What we got?
I'll go first. I would put this again just because it's not what I like from Julian personally. Like I'm a huge Strokes fan, and this really isn't. Just nothing. It doesn't really sound like anything like that. Maybe like some of the later stuff, but overall not like my favorite cup of tea. I'd put this at a 3.3 personally.
Ooh, that was close to my rating.
Yeah. Okay. What's
your rating?
Mine's a 3.2.
Okay.
Just because I'm not thinking about it right now, I can't remember much of the song musically, and usually when that happens, because it didn't stick with me. Like it didn't it didn't like catch me the first time.
Yeah.
It was cool. I liked it, and I was like bobbing my head and stuff when the music was on. But now that it's over, I'm like, oh, okay, like I don't even remember the song that much, so it didn't really stick with me.
Yeah.
And the lyrics, they were cool, but just again like not really sticking with me. So that's why I'm like rating it 3.2. I know if when I go to listen to it maybe later or another day or whenever, it's probably I'm gonna like it a little bit more. But for now, it's a solid 3.2.
I'm gonna go with a straight 4.
Okay.
On this one. It's Glass is my favorite Julian song by himself. But when I lump them and the Voids together, it's pretty tough. But I think I'm just going to go straight for, I do enjoy this song a lot, but I know it has some things that you could add to be like, okay, well, it's missing this and needs this. But to me, it kind of hits that spot. I don't skip it. I usually listen to it all the way through. I like the melody, the instrumentation on it, the synth, everything, the drums, everything like that. Great. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
That's my only sneeze.
Is that your only sneeze today?
Yeah,
you were saying your nose
I
was
sneezed like crazy today, but the whole podcast,
yeah,
I've been trying to hold it in.
first one. Yeah, nice. I'm probably gonna regret putting it. I probably could put it higher, but when I'm looking back, like Dare I Care is such a masterpiece. Pointless is great, Left and Right. Human Sadness, definitely a better song. So I think 4 is where I'm gonna stick for that one for sure. Very strong song. And you both said 3.
I said 3.3, and Will's at a 3.2.
And a 3.2. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I think maybe one day we will share this spreadsheet we have of the rankings. I think it's pretty cool to look at with all like the colors and different things we got on here. But yeah, guys, that was Old Hollywood by Julian Casablancas and The Chamber by the Last Shadow Puppets. That was another successful bonus episode. One of my favorites from Julian, definitely an interesting one from Last Shadow Puppets. Next week we have Infinity Repeating, which is the other Daft Punk song with Julian Casablancas, and No Buses by the Arctic Monkeys. It was a song released around their beginning time on an EP, and it's a popular one that the fandom knows, so I thought it'd be interesting to do for our 14th episode. Then we got the bonus for that, and then after that, we got the album review, and then one more bonus, and then that is the end of Season 1, guys. And then we were on to Season 2 for Favorite Worst Nightmare and Room on Fire. So, big things to come. Big things to come. So, what do you guys have to say for yourselves?
Very proud of how far we've come.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how far we've come. Yeah, we're almost at the first checkpoint, not finish line, but checkpoint.
Yeah. Should we do a podcast on Rob Thomas?
Who's that?
Matchbox 20?
Yeah.
Thomas?
Rob Thomas? No, you don't know him? He's from It's Always Sunny and Sinbad.
Rob Thomas?
Yeah, he's in a scene with Sinbad.
Yeah.
And he's like, is that Rob Thomas?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I've had to look him up.
That's Rob 20. Ugh. He's like, what'd you say?
Right.
Shut up!
I just saw that episode recently.
I love that one.
That's a good one.
That one is a great one. All right, fella people around the world, we love you so much. Kisses all around. And we will see you next week. See you later, peeps. Hey guys, Jared here. Thank you for listening to the episode. You can find us at Karma and Tranquility on Instagram and Reddit, and Karma Tranquil on Twitter. Our link tree is posted in our description and bios for you to find everything we have to offer. We post a full episode every Wednesday and a bonus episode every Friday.